click, boom. What's going on, faithfuls? It's your boy Mike from Nothing But Niners Crew. It is March Madness Day 3, guys. Day 3 is here. Send those questions in. Let's go ahead and get right to them. I don't want to waste anybody's time in case some of these things are thought-provoking or require me to do some research or something. So let's go ahead and have some fun here. DJ Malone is the guy first up in these streets here. Oh, wait, can I play sound effects on this thing? Can I still? I don't have none of that stuff hooked up right now. Let me see if I still can do it. I would like to make a sound effect if I can. Uh. Yeah. So what's Gucci, my faithful family? How's the family doing, Mike? Listen, the family's doing good so far, man. Had a long day. My day was so long that about 10, 15 minutes ago, maybe 20, I was talking to my wife and just realized that today was Thursday. We were supposed to go looking at furniture. We're going to be replacing the furniture in the living room soon. Now, I found this fantastic set, but it's nothing like what the wife wants. She wants like the chase and the sectional thing, and I want like the love seat and the couch and the rocking chair, and I want like the nice firm with the massagers built into it, the heat and the power reclining and things like I want that, and she wants something completely different. But that's why we got to go, right? It's kind of fun, it's kind of exciting. Like, oh, let's see what we end up settling on, you know. So yeah, but the family's doing good. Everyone's doing well. My daughter got threatened at school today. That's another story for another time, I guess, and still going to do some follow up with that later on. But everyone's safe. Everyone's happy. Everyone's here. So that's it. I hope your family's doing well too. He says, "What's your favorite hangover cure?" Okay, it's gonna sound crazy, but I need to take a deuce as fast as possible. A good number two, and I'm through. That's it. I don't really get hangovers anymore. I get this upset stomach thing going, and I'm not much of like a person that throws up. You know how some people like say, "Oh, I gotta throw up to feel better." Don't work like that with me. It's quite the opposite. So I take that deuce, and then I'm good. All right. And he says, "What's your opinion on the tariffs trade war?" Listen, man, this is it, it remains to be seen, right? I know that the United States is going issuing these tariffs to all these different countries and all that. And if you listen to the head of Canada, he sounds more offended than anything. And it sounds like, well, if you're going to do that to us, then we have to do this to you. And even when he's issuing such direct statements to President Trump, he's very, very apologetic to the American people. And I think that's something that's going to change the way that maybe some Americans feel about what is going on. So as far as me at all, I mean, I can't control any of it. I just got to ride this thing out like the rest of us and just see what happens, Yeah, go out there, buy an old school car, because you never know what these costs are going to be later on, guys. So get yourself something that you can pay off. Be ready to ride around that bad boy for a while, okay? Hopefully you don't need a lot of work. At least your leader didn't do blackface in 2000. Yeah. All right. And he says, "I'm Canadian, by the way." All right. Niner Goats, I see you in here, man. I see y'all. Shout out to everybody that's in here right now. JP Hellahard. Listen, my brother, I know this is not a question, but you absolutely know that you and your family are in my prayers right now. Again, my sincerest, deepest condolences to you and your loved ones, okay? But you know I got you, brother. All right. One advice to give to your younger self. It's interesting. I've always found a way to appreciate every situation that I'm in. The bad situations, the good situations, the worst situation I've ever been in, I've always looked at as an opportunity to improve. I'm a person that's appreciated being at the bottom because I feel like, all right, well, it don't get no worse than this. Let's grind now. Let's get to it. My advice to my younger self would probably be something along the lines of that stick to itness. You know what? I kind of wish I took school a little more serious. Everything came really, really easy to me, academically, athletically, and I never really like focused on one thing. I kind of wish that I did, just to see what would have happened, what could have happened, but I didn't do it. I was a social rat. I hung out with everybody. I hung out with the bookworms and the nerds. I hung out with the jocks. I hung out with the stoners. I hung out with like the religious groups and everything in between. So I was kind of like a chameleon. And I like that about myself. But I do wish that I chose to focus on one or two things a little bit harder coming up high school and college and just stuck with it just to see what would have happened. Hendrickson not affordable for the Niners. All right. So the NFL sack leader is going to be available. And the answer, Jesus, is yes, he is affordable for the 49ers. Now, will they want to pay him and Nick Bosa? Absolutely not. Could they afford it and find a way? For sure. But it won't happen. It won't happen. But yes, they absolutely could afford to do it. 100%. 100%. JP, yeah, you didn't have to do that again, my brother. Like I got you already, but I do appreciate the super chat. Thank you very much. Let me see. Can I play? Do I even have the cha-ching sound on here? I don't think I do, but you know what, man? I'm gonna give you I'll give you the horn. Man. Here we go. All right. Let me see here. Here we go. What advice would you give to Kyle Shanahan? Advice to John. This is actually a really good question, Michael. So thank you for this one. I don't think I've seen anyone ask this kind of question. I've been doing this for years too. I would. My advice to Kyle Shanahan would be to talk to, lean on, and trust your players more in game situations. Right. I saw something in Andy Reid. This was years ago. On their way to their first Super Bowl, I believe. They were trailing to, I believe it was the Texans, really badly. I think it was the Texans. It was a playoff game. It was like the biggest comeback at that time in like playoff history or something like that. And they just completely dominated. And Andy Reid goes to the podium afterwards, and they were like, "What was the conversation at halftime? Like, what did you say to your team?" And he was like, "I just had to trust them. I had to let the guys go out there and play." It's not that he let go of the reins, but you got to hear and see them like say, "Hey, coach, like this guy, he's falling for this. What play do we have where we could take advantage of that?" And he would call the plays based off of what the guys were saying. Him and Eric Bieniemy were working in tandem with the players, as opposed to just the two of them just trying to call things out. Like the players are the ones out there. I don't know if Kyle Shanahan has that in him. I know that we see that clip that goes around of Debo in that Packers game, and he's like, "Kyle, give me the ball, let's get this thing in the end zone," right? But you ever notice they don't show the timestamp on that? You ever notice that they don't show exactly when that happened in the game? They try to make it seem like, oh, in the very next play, Debo goes off, right? Maybe that's true. But that's the only time we've ever seen that. So even if it did happen in that moment, that's the only time that we know that's happened. Everything else we hear and see about Kyle is he's a control freak. He doesn't like to make adjustments if he doesn't want to. And so that would be my advice to him. Reid does it a lot more. We saw the Super Bowl that we lost to them. They called their own shot down the field, take advantage of Jimmy Ward out of place or whomever was out of place. But, those are things that you see. My advice to John Lynch, make your presence felt. Make your presence known. I would never want to be in the shadow of another man and have the resume that John Lynch has. The 49ers have great cap space. The cash they're upset about, but that's an in-house thing. They have great cap space. They took over the worst roster in the NFL, quickly turned it around to the best roster in the NFL, a couple of Super Bowl appearances, all pro players, Pro Bowl players. He's effective in the draft. He's effective in free agency. He's effective in trades, right? And everyone's like, yeah, but he's just a yes man. This was really Kyle's team. I would like John Lynch to be more assertive. Find a way to just make your presence felt. I'm not saying go out there and be boisterous, like that's my guy. Like you got a team to run, and but just find a way to like make people put a little bit more respect on his name. I like John Lynch a lot more than I think other people do. All right, DJ Malone says, which position group or groups do you think that we don't draft this year? I don't think the 49ers draft. I do think they draft a quarterback this year, so I can't say quarterback. I don't think the Niners draft a punter. I don't think the Niners draft. They got a lot of picks, man. They got a lot of picks. They're going to get a little bit of everybody. They're going to get corners. They're going to get safeties. They're going to get, if I believe they're going to get a quarterback, I think they're going to draft a running back, right? There you go. Maybe they don't draft a running back. They might not draft a running back this year. That'll be really odd. But yeah, I think the Niners will pass on drafting a running back this year. Running back and punter and kicker. Ooh, how's that? There you go. I came up with 3. What's you and Melissa's opinion on futons? When we first got together, I don't know if she had or we went out and got together. I don't remember, but we had the futons, and those are great, like young kids in love. That's when we had the pool table and all that stuff, right? Like something if you're out in the living room, you're watching TV, and you just want to boom, bust that thing down. And I didn't mean like that. I meant as in like bust the furniture down and lay down. It was cool, but I don't think that I am a futon type person anymore. Now, with that said, she wants to chase. She wants the sectional with the long chase so that she can stretch out and be really comfortable on. So we're going to see. We're going to see. Do you think we'll double dip a position group in the draft? Yes, I do. I think the Niners could end up drafting 2 corners. They're definitely going to end up drafting 2 linebackers, I think. 2 corners and 2 linebackers. And if they, I think 2 corners, 2 linebackers, and maybe even 2 offensive linemen, 1 early and 1 later. All right. Should we take a mobile quarterback? No. My advice to Kyle Shanahan was to learn to trust his players a little bit more, let them do like the play calling and stuff like that, which means that they have a little bit more freedom in the offense. Kyle is very much so a do this, play this way type of guy. We've heard stories of a successful play being scolded by Kyle when they get back to the sideline, like great touchdown, don't ever do that shit again, right? And so I think a mobile quarterback would give Kyle Shanahan nightmares. I think the type of quarterback Brock Purdy is exactly what he wants. He wants a quick twitch guy, a guy that's mobile in the pocket, a guy that can operate behind the line of scrimmage and can scamper a little bit. I think that's all he's looking for. Michael M says, should I hit the like button? You absolutely can if you would like to. But, only if I deserve it. How's that? Only if I deserve it. All right. What do you think Shanahan is feeling with all the salary trimming? There's 2 answers, right? The right answer that you would hope Shanahan would say is he feels responsible. That if he did a better job, no one would be complaining about the money spent on his players because they'd be champions. And everyone would say it was worth it. So the correct thing for him to say would be like, I've let everyone down. I've let the organization down. I've got to get better. And I've got to make sure that we continue to win games. And injuries is not an excuse, right? Like that's the minutia that he needs to verbally say. But as far as the salary trimming, I think what he's actually going to say, if you were to ask him that kind of question, is that's not my department. I rarely get involved in contract negotiations and changes and things like that. That's John and the other guys in the front office. So it's not really my thing. Occasionally they'll call me in about my opinion on something or someone. But one thing I'm never really going to do is ask for someone to get a pay cut or anything like that. I love these guys, and I want what's best for them. It doesn't mean that John doesn't love them, but that's the business side of things, and they're all aware that this is a business. That's what Kyle Shanahan would say. Chargers cut Joey Bosa. What about the 49ers sign him and unite him with his brother Nick? Guys, I've gone back and forth on this so much. There's a part of me that's like, all right, cool, he would be a good depth piece. And then like the more I think about it, the more I'm just like, no, like he's just he would be another stopgap, right? Another 1-2 years signing. And I feel like we've done this so much with this position. And I don't know how that would come across in the locker room. It's cool. Oh, brothers. Yeah. But like, who's going to tell two Bosa guys what to do, how to train? They're already allowed to work out on their own. They don't have to report to camps at certain times like everyone else. They have their own facility and all that. And they're just trusted to come in football shape when the time is right. We saw a dip in production from both the brothers this past season. So why should we do that? There's a lot of other players that are making themselves available that the Niners can afford and will likely be more productive than Joey Bosa. So I am more against it than I am for it. Would he be a bad depth piece? Probably not. I don't think so. Would he find a way to motivate his brother? It's like, are they more likely to become complacent together, or are they more likely to push each other? I do think they're more likely to push each other. It's just the corrective actions and the coaching is what I get more worried about, right? You're Nick Bosa, and you normally go to the sideline and you talk to your D-line coach and Coach Sarek and your guys, and you say, what'd you see there? Like, what can I do better? And now instead of doing that, you're running and you're talking to your brother. I don't know. I just don't know if I like it much. Who is going to be the 49ers starting receivers next season? Pearsall, Jennings, Cowan. Then they work a rookie in by week 3. And then Brandon Ayuk comes back around week 5 or 6. All right. I don't know what that means, and it's not a question. I'm not going to click that. All right, here we go. Damn, where'd it go? Here we go. Boom. Mark says here, thoughts on the 49ers approaching the first 2 rounds of the draft like the Rams last season and double down on edge and defensive tackle? I wouldn't be opposed to it. I wouldn't mind if one of those first 2 picks was used on a Myles Garrett, guys. I wouldn't be mad at it at all. Who's going to cost more, Garrett or Hendricks? Like, come on. You know what I'm saying? Like, shouldn't the Niners go out there and get one of those guys? Shouldn't they go out there and get one of them? I would. If I'm the Niners, I'm absolutely doing it. You got the NFL sack leader sitting there. You have the best defensive lineman out there, right? Do you want Hendrickson? Yeah, you do. Do you want Myles Garrett? Yeah, you do. And if it's going to cost you pick 11 or 30, 42, whatever it is, so what? Get them. I would love to see them do it. I would love to see him use one of those on an edge guy and then the other one at the defensive tackle position. I would love it. Guys, don't think it's a coincidence that we did not draft a defensive lineman last draft. First time it's ever happened in their tenure here. It'll probably be the last time. Defensive line was easily the biggest letdown this season. Easily the biggest letdown for me. We couldn't stop a run. Oh, man, don't get me started. If you were the GM, what would your pick be at 11? Myles Garrett. If that's what it took, if it took pick 11, it would be Myles Garrett. But I can't answer that question yet, Mark, because I don't know what's happened throughout free agency yet. So it's not a cop-out, but I would have to see how free agency played out. I don't know. I don't have an answer for you yet. I'm sorry. Who's a better coach, Mike Shanahan or Kyle, father or son? Well, one guy has a Super Bowl, whether it be coordinator or head coach, but one guy has Super Bowls, the other guy doesn't. So you would have to give it to Mike. You have to give it to Mike. I like Kyle, but it's going to be about the results right now. If Kyle were to stop coaching this year right now, what's that answer? The answer's Mike. Papa Shanny. All right. Mike, what is the number one key factor that the 49ers need to address to help Brock's performance this coming season? Offensive line. Offensive line. That's it. There's no secret here. It's not some big, like, oh, man, if we just got another wide receiver, nah, it's not that. Oh, man, if we can go out there and get another tight end and help George, nah, it's not that. Well, if we get Christian McCaffrey back and run the ball, no, we were still averaging 5.7 yards a kid. No, man, no, it's none of that. It's none of that. Time. Consistent time in the pocket. Let that kid get in the rhythm. And also, if we could get him to grow another inch or two, enough batted passes at the line of scrimmage. And maybe that's just me. That shit pisses me off so much. I hate seeing it. But offensive line, cleaner pockets, better throwing lanes. That's what we need for him. All right. What move do you think we make during free agency? Oh, I love this. I think the Niners make a big splash signing very early on. Very early on, they go out and make a big splash signing. And I think they bring someone back that people aren't expecting, like a Dre Greenlaw. I think Dre Greenlaw will try to test free agency and see what the options are out there. And I think people are going to say, oh, you've been injured the last 2 years. We're not really going to fuck with you like that. And then he can come back to the Niners. That is not the big free agency splash, though. They might go out and try to get a corner. They might go out and try to get a corner. They might go out and get that center Dahlman. They're saying that the Falcons guy is going to need like $15 million a year, $16 million. I don't know what he's going to need, but I say fuck it, give it to him. I talked about the importance of the offensive line in the previous question, right? So I say get that guy. Now, are they going to do all of what I just said? Probably not. One big splash on the offensive line, though, I think does come in free agency. Am I wrong for feeling like Joey would go to a contender like Buffalo, KC, Philly, Baltimore, and revive his career, but come here and get injured, underperform? No, Mark, you're not wrong to feel that way, man. Like, we have that kind of luck. Look at the injuries we have. Like, the Niners are either on and we're, NFC Championship, Super Bowl, or we're off. And when we're off, not only don't we win games, not only don't we make the postseason, we're beyond destroyed with injuries. Beyond destroyed with injuries. The most injury-ridden team when we don't make the postseason. It is the craziest thing I've ever seen. And if he goes to a team like Philadelphia, he's going to be a part of a healthy rotation at the defensive line. KC, I think he does get injured. They don't have that type of rotation over there. So I think he would get injured in KC. Buffalo, everything's on ice already, so the injuries will be, less likely to swell up. All right. But no, I think if he were to come here, I don't think it's wrong to feel that way. It's all about winning and losing, man. We start winning, everybody suddenly is healthy. Everyone can suddenly play a little bit more. Everyone has a little bit more in the gas tank to give. All right. Looking for more questions. If there aren't any more questions, we are going to get out of here. Let me see. Going once. Keep scrolling. Going twice. Also, guys, how was the audio on this? I'm doing this off of my tablet my wife bought me a couple of years ago for my birthday. And I love this tablet so much. It's one of my favorite devices. I don't know who. That's not a question for me. Okay, sorry. Oh, here we go. I see some question marks. 10-7, out first round. If we make playoffs, does Jed fire Kyle? Would you fire? Oh, okay. So if the Niners go 10-7 this year, and we get out in the first round of the playoffs, would you fire Kyle? All right. Moment of honesty. I've been saying that I think that there is this dark cloud around Kyle Shanahan in the NFL. I think that it's odd that someone who was as heralded as him, someone who has amassed this coaching tree from under him, I think it's odd that he can't get anybody with like real credentials and experience to come and work for him, with him in this building. I think that it's odd that as good as the Niners are, free agents, it feels like, don't really want to come here. Maybe they're just chasing the bag and we're not that team. All right, Michael, why are you saying this? I'm saying this because you're saying, would I fire Kyle? I saw this ridiculous tweet today that said the reason why Jed York is selling 10% of the team and looking for the cash flow to be corrected is because he needs money for a new GM and head coach next year. And while I don't think that's what Jed York's intentions are, you should always have something in the tuck. The Niners have been paying multiple head coaches, coordinators for years, even while Kyle Shanahan was here and entrenched, right? We had the Tom Sula's contract and Chip Kelly's contract, and all while paying Kyle Shanahan and all, right? Like those things were a real thing. That comes out of the cash. That comes out of the cash, not the salary cap. That comes out of the cash, right? Or a different cap for coaches or whatever they want to call it. But the cash is affected. And so it's something to think about. Now, to answer the question straight up, it depends on how we get to that 10-7. How injured are we, right? Are we as injured as we were this year, but we still win 10 games and we get bounced in the first round? Nah, I don't think I fire them. Now, are we healthy? Are we healthy and we only go 10-7? You got a fourth place schedule this year. A fourth place schedule. You're picking just outside the top 10 in the draft, right? You got like the 10th most cap space, and you only go 10-7? It's time to have a talk. It's time to have a talk. It's time to pull him in the room and say, this is your last year. I don't know that I would fire him right away, but he's on the hot seat. He would officially be on the hot seat for sure. And when I say hot seat, you don't get to finish the year if you don't look good. I want everybody to know that this place is open for business. Yeah, that's how I would do it. All right. Do you think that the placeholder and Moody's injury was really the problem last season? Papa, that's a good question, man. I think there's some validity to it. I do think that a person who's injured just doesn't come back and bounce back right away and they're 100% right away. I wouldn't expect that of a wide receiver. I wouldn't expect that of a quarterback. I wouldn't expect that of a lineman. So why should I expect that from a kicker? This is the one thing you do, and if you have an injury that prevents you from doing it, there should be some residual effects. And so, yeah, I think that those things could have been issues. I don't know so much about the holder. I didn't see many bobbled snaps. I didn't see many like fumbling with the ball and trying to get it right and delays and holding it, laces out. Like I didn't see any of that stuff. So the injury should be a valid excuse. Absolutely. All right. I'm going to go for another minute here. Let me see what we got here. Audio sounds good. All right, cool. All right. What do you think, neutral, what's going on? What do you think about trading or drafting quarterbacks? Because I don't think Brock is a great elite franchise quarterback. Conundrum of the offseason, right? Everyone keeps asking me, are you comfortable giving Brock $60 million? I'm not giving him shit, right? Do you think he deserves it? It just doesn't matter what I deserve. The market's the market, right? If he's going to be the starting franchise guy and he's going to sign a deal, it's going to average $60 million a year, guys. That's what the market is. Do I think that Brock Purdy is the type of quarterback that can put a team on his back when all of his star skill position guys are out? I do not think he's that guy. I do not think he's that guy. Well, how can you say that, Mike? You just saw what he did with Juwan Jennings. He almost had a 1,000-yard season. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. But I just don't think that he's that guy. So I wouldn't be. I tell you what, if there was an elite franchise guy that was out there that we could make a trade for, I would do it. I would do it. Would you guys trade for Herbert? And there's so many 49er fans that sit back and try to convince themselves that Brock is better than some of these names. And it's like, guys, it's okay to say that he is not physically better. Does he have a better winning record? Sure. Has he done more as far as how far he's gotten in the postseason? Sure, absolutely. But is Brock Purdy physically better than those guys? No. Is he mentally better than them? Maybe. Right? That might be his one up, right? Like he might be the most intelligent quarterback. That's what we're kind of hanging our hats on, right? But are you telling me that if the Chargers would take Purdy, Herbert, and a fifth, if you're telling me that the Bengals wouldn't take Purdy and a fifth, you're probably pulling that trigger, right? Purdy in a second. You're probably getting rid of them for those guys now all of a sudden. Would you guys take Dak Prescott over Brock Purdy? Don't answer it, or answer it in the comments. Leave it in the comments. Leave it in the comments. He is good, not great like Montana and Young. Even Jeff Garcia is better. But while I agree with those comments there, he is the best quarterback we've had in the last 10, 15 years. So unfortunately, or fortunately, there's that. All right. Belief is Gus Bradley was brought in to replace Saleh if he gets a head coaching job after next season. Any chance he was brought in to be the next DC under Saleh if Yorks get too involved and files Kyle. So that's really good speculation. And you want to have a good staff here of able people because you just don't know who's going where when the season ends. And I wouldn't be mad at that. I think that Jed York has a lot of respect for Robert Saleh. This is the first time that I know of anybody coming back to coach under Jed York. I don't know that anyone has left and come back and resume the coordinator or higher position under Jed York. So there has to be a very big like in the building for Robert Saleh. And maybe if Saleh does get promoted, then you go ahead and move Bradley to the DC, right? Or something along those lines. You just don't know. You don't know. But it's a good thought. It's a great question. Absolutely phenomenal question. And now I'm going to be thinking about that for the rest of the season. Thanks, jerk. All right, listen, guys, I love you guys. I'm going to get up out of here. This has been a very, very fun show. Thank you all for the comments and questions. And again, prayers out to all of those who need it. All right. Y'all know who you are. Nothing but love for you guys out there. Oh, we got a member comment here, so I do need to go ahead and read that. All right. But again, JP Hellahard, my prayers to you and your family. Rest in peace to Mama Hellahard. All right. And then we got this one that just came in here. I know you cringe when my name pops up. Never that. Do you think they clear house? So, Sean, when you ask this question, really quick, type it in there. Clear house like next off season? Do they start clearing house this off season? What do you mean by that? Let me know. And I'll answer that really quick. What is your favorite color? My favorite color to look at is probably red. My favorite color to wear is gray or black. And what color makes me feel like relaxed and calm is brown. So I hope that answered that question. Why is the sky blue, Mike? Molecules. You think we trade Mason? I hope not. I think Mason is the second best back on this roster, and I think we should try to keep him. BA gone would bring morale up. I don't think so. I don't think getting rid of Brandon Ayuk would bring morale up. I think it would make everybody shit bricks, if being honest with you. You go from having Brandon Ayuk and Debo as your 1 and 2 to both of them being gone in the same offseason. I think it makes everybody shit bricks. Trade CMC? That's an interesting question. I'm going to say no right now. But what if a team said, hey, we'll give you a first-round pick for Christian McCaffrey? You guys wouldn't do that? We've seen the production that we get from some of these guys in this position here, specifically the running back group. Now, are they Christian McCaffrey? No, they're not. They're not at all. Not even close. So let's not pretend like they are, right? We don't get that kind of multifaceted, multi-purpose usage out of those guys. We don't. But we do get some production from them. And the question is the production, the trade-off, worth the first? If a team is willing to give us the first for Christian McCaffrey, he should probably go. We didn't even give up a first to get him. So keep that in mind. All right, coming off those injuries and all that too. Oh, yeah, he would be out of here. All right. And then let me see if this one. Okay, this current offseason. No, they're not going to clean house this offseason. Not at all. They're going to run this thing back, and this is the year. This is the you either do or you don't year. This is the year that the hot seat officially becomes a thing. All right. Kyle and John just got extended 2 seasons ago. It wasn't last offseason. It was the one before that. They just got extended. They get the extension. They go to the Super Bowl. This year was the injuries. You don't stop believing in those guys that quick after you extended them 2 or 3 times already in their short career, their short tenures here. So, no, I don't think that you get rid of them just like that. I do still believe that cloud around Kyle is a little weird. I'm thinking that Kyle is starting to be looked at as like a silver spoon kid, right? Like I'm not going to say what I was about to say. Someone who was born into a very good situation, all right, and just was kind of given things. I think that is starting to be the notion around the NFL. He didn't have to really go out there and get it out the mud. He came in with a name that people respected and applied power to and authority. So, all right, guys, that's it for real this time. Love you guys. I'll talk to you soon. Prepare for glory. Anticipate pain, but always remain faithful. See you guys. Peace.
We all gas, no brakes, pumped up, no fakes. We spinning, we winning, we high stakes. We never miss, we all makes. Look at us dudes trying to prove, bringing you news with nothing to lose. Mike, Nick, Tony, Wayne, Method Man, we bring the pain. Hey, see, I'ma confess it. We under the pressure. If you looking to find us, we them nothing but Niners. We nothing but Niners. We nothing